Hello, this is a new tutorial to guide you through the process of extracting stable terrain from two terrain layers. We're going to use ICS Map server for that. So the approach is really simple. We've got two terrain layers, terrain A, which is financial year ending 2020, and then the other one is financial year ending 2023. So basically we have terrain snapshot today, and we have a terrain snapshot in the future, and this is coming from the Black Planning department. So what we're going to do, we're going to apply a delta operation, so terrain A minus terrain B, and then we look at the result of this operation. So if the delta is 0, so which means the terrain is untouched, and we deem this as a stable throughout 2020-2023. And if the delta is different than 0, which could be going up or coming down, depending if they are excavating or if they are dumping terrain, then the delta would be different than 0. In that case, we assume that the terrain is subject to change throughout the years, and we deem it unstable. So stable terrain can be converted to clutter. So that's the idea, is that we're going to use these two terrain layers, going to be ATDI format, Geo or IC2 or RGE, doesn't matter. But here we're going to use the IC2 or Geo files, because we're going to use ICS Map server, not HTC, for that operation. So the stable terrain can be converted into clutter. They become binary, 1 or 0. So 1 means, for example, unstable, and 0 is stable. And it can be used as a guide for the placement of towers throughout the life of the mine. So, because you guys have trailers, and there's skids, and then more static infrastructure. So we're going to use that layer, clutter layer, to guide us as where we can place a more established infrastructure versus using just the trailers. So that's the whole thing. So let's look at the inputs now. So we only have 2 inputs, okay? And I'm going to make the assumption that you guys are already comfortable generating Geo files and IC2 files. These 2 are the only inputs. They're both 2 meter resolutions. And it's really important, if you're going to use ICS Map server, both of them to be same coordinate system and both of them to be same resolution. Otherwise you get in trouble. Okay, so we might have another video later on how to do this in HTC, which have more flexibility with the res and the grid codes. But for now, I'm going to assume that clients are comfortable really producing Geo files or IC2 files in exactly same resolution and same coordinate system. You see, the only difference is the year. So this is FY20, this is FY23. So let's start. First, I'll take the older one, 20, make a copy of it. Okay, so copy paste. And I'm going to rename it to Delta, so we can distinguish this one. So this is your baseline, so the Delta. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna apply the operation between these 2. So the Delta, the one we made, which is really a replica of the existing one, and the planned 2023. That's what we're gonna do. So we run ICS Map server. Ignore this. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to do an insert. So we're going to insert one into the other. So the destination will be the one you just duplicated, the delta. That's the destination. And the source is the 2023. And here, instead of doing just a blind insertion, I want to do a subtraction. You can do addition or subtraction. So I'm going to choose the subtraction. So now insert. So effectively now we applied delta operation, and the result is in the delta. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open it to check the output and also make some further transformations. Disk options, control treatment, memory session. So cancel the IC1 because we're going to deal with IC2. I'm going to put the link here, and then don't forget to change the extension to Geo. And here is the delta. Open it. Maximize the screen, maximize, left click, right click. Now you can see. Now if you hover the mouse on the blue, you can read 0 here, value 0. And here outside is -9, which is the void or the blank. And then here you see you've got some operations happening here. So here you see is 20. So terrain is going to go up by 20. Okay, here you see negative neg 28. It's going to go down by neg 28 meters. So what we're going to do, I'm going to sort out the non-zeros first. So I'm going to go transformation x to y. So anything above 0, I'm going to migrate it to 1. Okay. Now done for this part. So this one was 20. Now it should be 1. Yep, working. Now again, one more time. I'm going to convert now the minus 999, which is void, to 0, to nothing. So we don't mix up neg 99 and neg 28. So now this is here. Here there's no data. So no data versus no data is really nothing, no change. Now one more time, we're going to transform anything under than 0. I'm going to transform it to a 1 again. So here we go. Now we have a binary map. The blue, which is 0, no change. And then anywhere else where you have delta, positive or negative, is transformed to just 1. So 1 is non-stable and 0 is stable, effectively. So let's save this. I could just save it on the top of the existing one, which is the delta. Or, yeah, we just do that. Save it on top of it. Done. Now the last step, I'm going to close this. The last step is I'm going to convert it from IC2 to IC1. So IC2 we use it for for terrain, and then the IC1 or Sol or other formats we use them for clutter. So I'm going to just compress from 16 to 8. I'm going to use this as an input, and I'm going to call this now stable. I like to keep the things, so I'm going to keep this here. Let's call this stable terrain. Stable terrain. No need to mention the 20. You can say 2020 to 2023, so we'd know what's happening there. So save it. If you want to open it with the 8-bit file, you can open it now if you want, just to view. Here you go. So I'm going to close this, and go back here. So I suppose here at the top, we have now a stable terrain and sitting in IC1. I can rename it to Sol. SOL. Now some customers, they know how to compress this. They can compress it to RGE if you need to, but there's no need for that. So I'm going to run HTZ now and test this stable clutter. So file, project manager as usual, and I'm going to make new project, and I'm simply going to drag drop the stable. I'm going to open one of the terrain 2020, the old one, and stable clutter. Did I copy across this one? Yes. And then stable. Yeah. Now I've got both of them in place. Save this. I'm going to call it stable terrain project. And I'm going to open this project. And right away we see here that's the dem. I think I made a mistake. I didn't load the right terrain. I loaded the delta. I should be loading the sample, this one. You can tell right away something is wrong. Here you go. So this is the actual terrain in 2020, and now I'm going to overlay clutter. Here we go, very clear now. So that clutter code number 1, so you can press here in the barcode, and here we can call this number 1. Here 0 is stable, and here is unstable. Okay, so this is the clutters I'm using right now. Don't worry about the rest, and make sure here the clutter is set to 0. You don't want to create artificial fake height. Okay, so I'm gonna put all this to zeros, 0 them, 0, and yeah, this is both of them 0, and voila. So all this the clutter usage, let me just choose different color. Let's put it in brown. So that these brown areas are effectively where change in the terrain altitude is going to happen eventually between 20 and 2023. So you shouldn't really place any any infrastructure, permanent infrastructure here. And normally you need to back off as well from the edge, because the cliff may not be also as stable. So sometimes you have to back off, and you have to communicate with the civil engineers to make sure that the site selection process is really consistent and safe. So this is pretty much how you can adopt the stable terrain concept as a clutter layer in software HTC communication by the help of ICS Map server. And like I said, in the future possibly we could have video how to do this in HTC directly without the use of ICS Map server. Thank you for your time, and see you again in future videos.